Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this open webinar where you can get tips and tricks for your resuscitation science poster presentation. We have been looking very much forward to tonight, and we're happy that all of you are attending this exciting webinar. My name is Cecilia. I am a young ERC committee member, and I will be your moderator tonight. We will begin with some practical information. So first, if you have questions for our speaker tonight, please write them in the chat during the talk. After the talk, I will read all questions out loud, and we will have our speaker answering them. So please don't be shy. We will love all your good questions. And you can also upvote questions if you like them. Then you can like them in the chat, and we will read them up as the first ones. Second, you will receive a letter of attendance for being here tonight, and you will receive it 7 to 10 days from today. It will be sent to your email, and it will also be available to download on Cozy if you have a Cozy account. But no worries if you haven't, it will be sent to your email anyway. All right, so now for the most important thing tonight. We have invited our international expert on tonight's topic, Tommaso Squisato. Tommaso is the head of cardiac arrest research and innovation at the Department of Anesthesia and Intensive Care at San Raffaele Hospital in Milan, in Italy. And Tommaso is also known for his expertise on presentations and graphics. And we are very happy to have you here tonight, Tommaso. So thank you all and welcome everybody. And Tommaso, the screen will be yours.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. Thank you, ERC and the Young ERC Committee for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here this evening and giving you some practical tips and tricks on poster presentation as the ERC Congress is approaching. And I think I can start by sharing the presentation. And I have no conflict of interest with this presentation. And as anticipated, we will talk about poster presentation. Many of these tips and tricks can be also adapted for classic presentation and also for general graphic design for communicating science. So potentially there is some overlap with other type of presentation, but we will focus on poster presentation this evening. And I'm happy to take questions if you have questions regarding the presentation. And let's start by discussing what is a poster. So this is my personal view of what is a poster. I think when you are going to present a poster at a scientific congress, we can see this opportunity as a way to start a conversation. So you are going to start a conversation about your research topic, about your research field with many colleagues from around Europe, around the world. And my personal view of a poster is that the primary goal that you have is to attract the attention of other colleagues or other experts, and in that way begin a collaboration, a long-term collaboration potentially, and obtain suggestion and feedback for your work, and also inspiring other people in potentially replicating or collaborating in your project. And another important aspect is that the poster should be viewed as a visual tool that will help you sharing your findings and your research. What is not a poster? It is also important because a poster is not should not be a comprehensive presentation of your research findings. So never try to present everything in your poster because you will fail and you will not obtain the intended goal of establish a collaboration, because nobody will understand anything if you try to condense a lot of information inside a single poster. Instead, it's better to focus on some important aspect and try to communicate a small part of your project really well. How to start? So I think that everything I'm going to say this evening is not evidence-based. I'm a researcher. I like to be evidence-based, but I think that most of these aspects are currently opinion-based. So I'm happy to discuss with you if you have any other suggestion or best practice. But this is how I would like to suggest you to design a poster. So try to draft the content first. So do not immediately open your PowerPoint, for example, and design your poster, but try to have a clear overview in your mind on what is your audience. So who are going to listen your presentation, your poster presentation? What is the main finding that you want to communicate? What is your main goal? You want to share your result, you want to obtain new collaborators, you want to obtain feedback. So decide what is your main goal. And but first, remember to check the instructions. So every Congress have specific instruction for poster presenter, and you must check before design your poster. Otherwise, you will complete your poster, and then you'll found that it is not designed according to poster instruction, and you risk to come to the Congress with a poster that is not correctly prepared for the specific Congress. And so start sketching the basics. So what is your title? Try to think if the title can be improved. What are your main results? What type of style you want to use in the poster? It is very frequent that posters are just copy and paste from the abstract that you submitted, but it is not necessarily required. So you can try to adapt and change because the abstract that you submit to a Congress is usually the simple text that is going to be reviewed and approved by the Congress committee. But the poster is a different thing. The poster is the way you communicate your findings. And the poster should be simple. In many Congress, there are hundreds of poster presentations. So attendees usually have very little time. And so if your poster is easy to read and has potentially a catchy title with simple keywords, but very relevant, have a much higher possibility that your poster will be read by attendees. And so try to make your poster stand out among the hundreds of posters. So this is one of your goals in the following weeks prior to the ERC Congress, in my opinion. And try to be concise. We always try to put a lot of things in a poster, but many times it is better to just include essential details, and potentially essential details that are summarized through figures and table are better than a lot of text. Diagrams can be also very useful. Bullet point. Try to avoid very long block of text that are very hard to read, very hard to follow, and not so catchy for someone who is walking in a Congress venue and trying to read some poster. Pay attention to errors. So ask a colleague or a friend to read the poster for you. Remember to do that. And in the next few slides, I will share with you some design best practice. So you don't need to be a graphic designer, of course, but these few tips can really change the graphic of your poster and can be applied also to classic presentations, for example, for lecture or oral presentation, but also for example, if in the future you want to try to design visual abstract, for example, they have a lot of things in common, and this best practice for design can always be a great way to start. And some simple tips are very very easy to follow. Avoid complex background. Very frequently, at congresses, we see posters that have images as a background. Avoid that. They are very hard to read, and the text is very hard to separate from the background. So always ask yourself if your text has enough contrast with the background. So this is a very important question. Otherwise, it is hard to read, and it is very hard to understand what is presented in the poster. So avoid the background. A simple background is very good. Fonts. You may be tempted to use very nice font, but very simple fonts are better. So try very simple font like Arial, are very nice and do appear and look very well. Other simple tips is to separate clearly what is an heading and a subheading, for example, from the rest of the text. So to do this, you can change the font size, for example, can use a bold font or change the color. And in the following slide, we'll see some practical example. Also remember that the poster is frequently or printed at congresses or is displayed in screen. So remember that you have to think that your text should be read from a distance of 1 meter, frequently also more than 1 meter. Just try to, if you attended some congresses in the past, you remember that frequently there are a lot of people, and it's very hard to stay exactly in front of the poster when there is a lot of people, and your poster is really interesting, and so a lot of people is trying to follow your presentation. This number is 18 for small figure legend to 85 for the main title is an indicative range of sizes for fonts that you can choose for PowerPoint, and in between it's okay for a type of poster. And again, try to be simple, and people doesn't have much time, as you know, at the congresses. They have a lot of things to do. They have a lot of people to interact with and a lot of poster to follow. And so if it is easy, it is also more likely that you are going to make new contacts and have people read your poster. And layout is one of the most important things. So frequently we see posters that have no clear layout or a clear organization of the content inside the poster. Layout is very important, and frequently you can choose between this type of organization. So you can have a single column, different columns side by side, or a grid organization like 4 section, and every option is great, but it is important that you stick to one and you follow the flow. It is important to do not move information across column, for example. So if you decide that you are going to design your poster using a 3-column format, you have to follow the flow. Then never move content across, for example, the column. So add suddenly a row that go through all the columns. So this is a very poor design. And then colors. Frequently we see crazy colors, and here there is a very simple suggestion. If you go, for example, to this website that you can see on the top right corner of the presentation, there is a simple website where you are able to select your favorite color, for example, and the website give you other 3-4 colors that looks good with your favorite color, and this is called complementary colors. And this is a way to select colors that look nice together. And another option is to use the color wheel. So the color wheel allow you to play with different colors, but the colors always looks good together. And a simple way, a much simpler way, is to use the simple scale of colors that is proposed, for example, by PowerPoint. And of course, it is more limited, but also less risky from combining colors together. Then you can play, for example, with opacity, exposure, saturation, and contrast. If you have, for example, images in your poster, in order to adapt to the color of all the poster. Of course, it is important to avoid crazy color. For example, blue, light blue background with a strong yellow, with a strange font is something that I would completely suggest to avoid. Typography is also very important, as I already mentioned. It is important to remember that you have to wisely use the font size in order to separate what is an heading, what is a subheading, and what is also a text. And at the same time, you have to remember that most people will just read what is in different colors, in bold, and of bigger size. Also, another option is to use icons or illustration to represent, to communicate some key results. These are all options, and if you want to take a screenshot for ideas, feel free to do it. And these are also other options to summarize instead of using text. For example, if you have three group, you did a study comparing three different groups of cardiac arrest patients, and you want to report a survival outcome, for example, instead of writing in simple text, you can represent the result using chart, for example. And if you want to represent, for example, the rate of bystander CPR in different countries, you can use maps instead of reporting a table with rate of bystander CPR and survival in different countries. These are very simple examples, but really change the way posters are presented and posters are seen by others. There is a much higher likelihood that someone stop in a poster, stop to see a poster that has a lot of graphics, a lot of nice design, compared to a poster with just text and no figures, no images. And these are, of course, other options. But one of the most frequent questions that I receive is, okay, this is very nice, but which software to make this kind of poster? Of course, there are a lot of different possibilities. Of course, there are all these different possibilities come with different cost and level of complexity, and also professionality in the skill needed, and also in the output produced. My personal point of view is that 99% of nice poster can be created with just Apple Keynote or Microsoft PowerPoint. They are very easy to use, and the first one is free for Apple computers, and the second one costs a little bit for Microsoft user, but frequently institution give Office for free. So I think it is a very widespread among researchers. Other option is, for example, another option is Canva, that is becoming very, very common. Became very, very common in the last few years, and of course, is a very great software, but it is more complex because you have to learn how to use it, and for some part, for some tools, you need to pay a subscription. And similarly, we have, for example, BioRender, MinDgraph, that are tools developed specifically to design posters, but they have a cost, and of course you have to learn how to use it. Then we have two main software that are usually reserved to a professional, but I think that it is affordable to learn how to use them. Just keep in mind that you need maybe some weeks or some months in order to learn how to use it. But when you learn one time, you will benefit for forever. However, the side problem of, for example, Illustrator is that is very it costs a lot and is very complex. And just to summarize what we said till now, absolutely avoid. I mean, you can do your poster in many different ways, but I think this is the top 5 errors you must avoid. The first one is not having a clear layout. So not having a layout really put a lot of confusion in your poster. The second one is having too much information. So failing to focus on your take-home message and your main message of your poster presentation, using crazy colors or crazy fonts, or for example, combining colors and background that does not allow to clearly read the text. This is, I think, the biggest error you can do. And for example, repeating. I mean, you have just one single page to summarize your content, your poster, your research. Avoid to repeat information. So try to make everything very clear and not mention more than one time your findings or results. And when you have designed your poster, you have to practice your presentation, and try to practice prior to the poster presentation in, for example, at least some day before your presentation, but never read your poster. So try um, to practice in a way that it seems that you are just presenting something you read or you did nice in the evening to a friend. So this should be the style of presentation. And of course, poster presentation are always very short. Every Congress has different requirement. Check the instruction, but usually poster presentation are very short. So no more than 5 minutes usually. And if it is shorter, better. I mean, people prefer very short presentation. One way to test if your presentation is short, try to go to your hospital, to your institution, go from the ground floor to the last floor of your hospital, and try to explain to a friend, to a colleague, your poster in the time from the ground floor to the last floor of your hospital. And if you are able to do this, you have all the skill and all the practice you need to present the poster to the Congress. And every time someone will ask you a question, for sure the moderator. So moderators arrive to the poster session with at least one question ready for every poster, and so try to anticipate what can be this question, and also use this time to potentially add other details that you don't have the time to present in the 4 or 5 minutes of your poster presentation. When you present the poster, of course, reach the poster session on time, so never arrive late. It is not nice for the moderator, but also for your colleagues that are going to present. It is never nice that they call your name and you are not present at the poster session. And try when you present to stand on the side and avoid to cover the posters from the audience. And frequently there are every Congress is different. Frequently there are a lot of noise, in the background, people talking during congresses and during poster sessions. So remember that potentially can be difficult to present the Congress. Sometimes some Congress provide um, audio device, for example, to allow you to speak at microphone, to speak at people to hear your presentation. So just arrive prepared. And potentially, if you are not the first one to present the poster, for example, you are presenting on the second day, the first day, go to see how they are organized. So in this way, you will be prepared to what is the practice of presenting the poster at this specific Congress, and try to look at your audience. I think this is really important. And do not try to stay within the allocated time. So if it is 5 minutes, if the instruction says 5 minutes, try to prepare your poster presentation for 4 minutes, for example, in order to avoid delaying your presentation. Another important aspect, so we covered how to design the poster, how to present the poster, and then there is also the after poster presentation. For the after poster presentation, I think your main goal should be to network and having social media profile can help. For example, you can put your social media profile in your poster so people can contact you or follow you on social media and see additional work that you are doing. You can also add your email, for example. And I think that in the after poster presentation, your main goal should be to try to discuss with other presenters, but also to the people that listen to your presentation. Remember, if I come to listen to your poster, it means that I'm interested in the same topic, and so potentially we could be great collaborator in the future. So present your poster, and my suggestion is not to run away, but to stay till the end and try to see if there are people that want to ask you some question, or potentially you want to ask some question to attendees that seem interested in your presentation. Always include at least your email. This is very, very important. So take home message. When you are preparing the poster, just focus on your key findings. So include your most important result. You will have a lot of time to present the full results. People that are interested will write you an email if they are interested in your presentation. So we'll have a lot of opportunity to present all your findings. And similarly, avoid overload of results. So highlight the key information, and this is not a full article. You will have the opportunity to publish your research soon, but the poster is not a full article. And if you are in doubt of putting or not putting some complex design, simple the better. So simple color, simple fonts, and simple design is helpful to communicate your result. And it is not important to be a graphic designer if you are able to adjust font sizes, for example, to use different color to highlight what is a title, what is the subtitles, and what are the keywords. It is enough. And practice your presentation. Ask your colleague to listen to you, or ask also a friend that is not in medicine, for example, to listen to you, and try to anticipate some question. And remember that the most important the most important part of presenting poster at congresses is making connection with other researcher. And if this is your first time presenting a poster, uh, stay stay positive. Try to enjoy the experience, and remember that everyone did their first poster presentation, and everyone has been through it. So no worries, and do your best. Thank you for your attention, and I'm happy to take question and discuss with you what are your ideas, and if you have any question, I'm here.
Oh, I need to unmute myself. Thank you very much, Tommaso. It was a really interesting talk. And I think it was really, really useful for us presenting a poster in the future. So now we will have the Q&A session, and I just need to find my document where I have all the questions. And I would just mention again that if you want to still put a question in for Tommaso, you can do it in the question in the Q&A box in the bottom of your screen. All right, so let's see what we have. So actually, I have a question myself, Tommaso. We can begin with that one. You talked about the poster being a visual tool. So how much text do you think should be included on a poster, or how do you think it should be presented? Should it be like full text or in bullet points, or how can you do it if you want a little bit of background information on your poster?
Thank you for your question, and I think it is important to avoid to copy and paste the abstract you submitted. So I think that this is really important. So first step, avoid to do that. Then I think everything can be okay. I mean that if you are able, if you have the time to summarize in a block of text in bullet point, I think is great. For example, you have the result section, and it is not important of having a block of text, in my opinion. And if you are able to summarize that in some bullet points with the key results, even better with a chart or a figures or stuff like that, it is great. But between all these options, everything is okay, except just copying and pasting all the text from the abstract you submitted.
Okay, thank you, Tommaso. Really useful, even though it's easy to copy paste the abstract. So that was a good one. All right, you also talked about that not everything should be presented in the poster. It shouldn't be like a report of your research. So what do you think is the most important thing to include?
Okay, also this one is a great question, and
Or
it is
or maybe you can also ask it opposite, like what can you leave out?
yeah, and removing is always more complex. Deciding what to remove, it is always more complex than adding. I mean, also when you are writing a manuscript for a journal, and they put you a limit of, for example, 250 words, it's always more difficult to remove some words than adding. And personally, from a poster, I would like to see the rationale of your research. So why you decided to do this research. The methods are okay, but I think the methods can be really reduced to the essentials. So if you did a very complex experiment, it is not important, in my opinion, to include all the details. If someone is really interested in replicating your study, will write you an email or will stop you at the Congress. And then the result, I think the results just focus on your main findings. For example, if you perform a study on 1,000 patients and you have multiple outcomes, and one of the outcome was available only in a small proportion of patients, I think you can remove this outcome, for example, just put the outcome that are the most important for supporting your conclusion. So everything that keep all the results that are important to support the conclusion you will put on the poster. I think that can be a nice rule.
Thank you. Very helpful again. All right, then we have several questions about the title. So we have a question from Lasias. You talked about catchy titles. Can they be in form of a question?
Yes, why not? I think that the question are a really nice way to catch the attention of people. Unless there are some specific Congress instruction, I think it is not mandatory to exactly report the title of the abstract you submitted, but you can change in a form of a question without any problem. I think it is great if you are able to transform the title in form of a question.
Thank you, Tommaso. We also have another one from Julia Casco. So by catchy phrases, do you mean catchy titles? And does it look good when there are catchy titles that probably not sounds too professional?
Yes, of course, there can be the risk of sounding not professional, but I think that we have to judge what is not professional. I mean, if I think that there are opportunities to change the title in a way that are more catchy or more appealing to readers, and at the same time being professional. I think it is possible. And just if you want inspiration, I think that editorials of scientific journal frequently try to start with a catchy title compared to the scientific article. So if you have a look to some editorial also published in Resuscitation, maybe you can have some inspiration, and you can see that the journal article have a more classical title, while the accompanying editorial have a more catchy title. And I think that this can be the style you can use also for a poster without the risk of sounding not professional.
Thank you very much. I hope it answered your question, Julia. Then we have some questions about using a template, like for an example for the ERC Congress that is coming up. So if you have received a template from the Congress or for another future presentation, do you think it is a good idea to use it, or you should make your own design to be recognized?
So this is a complex question. I mean, I don't know if there are strict rules for the specific Congress, the ERC Congress, to use the template, but personally, I prefer to design everything from scratch, and to design my poster specifically for the need of my research. Of course, I'll try to put to follow in some way the style if I ever receive a template, but I will try to have a custom made poster presentation. Of course, if it is allowed by the instruction for presenters.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So maybe you also answered this question already. So if your hospital has a corporate design, should you always use it?
For me, absolutely. At least the logo of your hospital. You are going to present the work of your hospital. You are representing your hospital, and in this moment at the Congress, I think that also your hospital could benefit from a corporate presentation. I mean, it is a way. I think that hospitals that have an attention to design and to how they communicate is I mean, it is important when a hospital is very modern, and I would use it. I always try to put the style of my institution when I present at congresses and also at in poster or other communication.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we have another question from Ahmed. Is there a perfect blend to balance text and vectors or images and charts?
I don't have a formula for for balancing between text and illustration, but I think that if you are in doubt, try to reduce the text. I mean, if you are able to summarize, I mean, both exaggeration are not good, because having a poster full of vectors, chart, and images without a clear layout is not good. But if you have simple data that can be easily represented through chart or images, personally, I would prefer using some sort of illustration. I mean, something it is impossible to be represented with images, but other part of the poster are perfect for this type of illustration.
Perfect. Thank you, Tommaso. Hope it answered the question. All right. So we have another question, Tommaso. Would you personally suggest a particular free website or tool to customize vectors or charts or illustrations?
So I don't have, I mean, this in addition to the one that I presented on the slide, I personally create all the vectors and chart using Keynote or Excel. The level of customization is very, very high. If you play a lot with Excel, you can really do a lot of different type of chart, and also customize a lot the type of colors and the type of fonts and a lot of stuff. And I think that the tools that I presented in the presentation are not very good in customizing vectors and chart, except the professional one like illustrators, but it's very, very complex. If you are able to create vectors and chart using Excel, for example, and you export as a PDF file, and you import in Illustrator, you can do a lot of great work, but it's very, very complex, and you need a lot of practice. The learning curve can be a little bit longer.
Thank you. All right. Then we have a lot of questions about how the the poster presentation in Athens will work when it's electronic, and I hope these questions are answered already in the chat, because this is more like general questions for Tommaso. So I hope we have answered those questions in the chat. Please let me know if we haven't, just so you know. So another questions for you, Tommaso. How many times do you usually practice your presentation?
Wow.
Do you have a rule of thumb, or?
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, depend. So we are all very busy, and it occurs that sometime I arrive to a presentation without having practiced a lot, for example, and of course the result is not nice as one would expect, of course. But you have to at least 1 2 time. I mean, if you want a simple number, at least 1 2 time. But I think that you have to practice unless you feel that you really know what you are presenting, and it should be like telling a story that you listened many times for all your life, and you are just telling to a friend. I mean, you have to reach this level of confidence, and if you are able to show, to demonstrate that you are really confident on your topic, it is immediately clear that you are really expert on what you are presenting. And if you try to remember by heart all your poster presentation, for example, you can end up in perfectly delivering the presentation, but to an expert listener, understand that you memorize your presentation. I don't know if you understand what I mean. You have to try to demonstrate that you really know the topic you are presenting, and I think it is really important, um, reaching this level of skill.
Yeah, because I think that would be my following question. Do you think you can practice too much?
If you can practice too much, no, I think there is no, is never too much. You can present and try with your friend, with your colleague. I think that the day of the presentation, you will be a little bit anxious, maybe a little bit of agitation. And one way to practice this is, for me, is the being able to take an elevator from the ground floor to the last floor of your hospital and try to give your presentation in time before the elevator reach the last floor. And I think this is also called the elevator pitch. If you are able to explain your topic, explain your key message in this way to someone, you really know well the topic.
Perfect. Thank you. So we all need to find an elevator friend who wants to listen to our.
An hospital with a lot of floors.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, I'll just check the questions again. I think we're through all of them, actually. I'll just check the chat. So it looks like we have all the questions from the audience. I hope all questions have been answered by Tommaso, and the other ones have been answered in the chat. Or something is coming in, sorry. I just need to read it, sorry. Okay, I will read it out loud because then we can get it together. So is there a possibility for considering and recommending the full article for publication instead of abstract publication after the poster presentation. Does it make sense?
I'm not sure that I understand really the question, but I think that every poster can become with a different amount of work after the Congress, can become a full publication. And of course, potentially, you can have, for example, editors of journals listening to your presentation, and so potentially you will end up submitting your full article to one of these journals. I don't know if I understood the question and I answered the question, but happy to answer again in case.
Yeah. I also hope the question was answered. At least I don't have any following questions yet, so let's hope. Then we have a comment, Tommaso. One from the audience writes, "Thank you very much for an informative talk." And I think as we don't have any more questions, we will close this session in a minute. And we also would like to say thank you very much, Tommaso. It was a really interesting and useful talk, I think. We think that everybody also considering the questions. So I think it's really useful also for the upcoming Congress and for future presentations. So thank you very much, Tommaso, and thank you all for attending this webinar. I hope to meet you in Athens at the ERC Congress in the end of this month. And best of luck if you have an oral or poster presentation during the Congress. Thank you so much for being here, and then we will close the session for tonight.
Thank you, and see you in Athens.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.